I'm Precious. I'm really excited to be here. I couldn't make it to Lagos due to certain restrictions, but I hope you guys do enjoy my talk and also do enjoy the rest of the event. I will be talking about building and contributing to open source developer tools. This is a topic really dear to me, having contributed and built open source tools over the past 2 years of my career. I'll be talking about why you should do this and also what get to in from this. I am Precious Ndubueze. I'm a developer relations engineer at Bitnub. Bitnub is a Bitcoin company that allows you invest in Bitcoin and also save in Bitcoin. I'm an average reader and lover of dogs and rom-coms. While not reading or working, I spend most of my time ranting on Twitter. So, what are open source developer tools? Open source developer tools are tools used by the used by developers and are available to contributions from the general public. As developers, we use all sorts of tools in our daily coding life, and we also get to use tools that are both open source and non-open source tools. Non-open source tools are tools like Digital Ocean, Hero, Netlify, Sentry, Postman, Visual Code, and much more. And we also use lots and lots more of open source tools. Notable examples are npm, React, Vue, Django, and lots more. This begs the question, why build open source tools? Why should you contribute to these tools, or why should you even build them in the first place? So, why build open source tool? Open source developer tools allows you to give more opinions to developers. There is no much better UX than being able to solve an issue you have on a tool or being able to request for certain features. This is a very good thing to have in a tool, and which is why, as a developer, you should aim to build a tool that are able to solve or be able to be easily accessible to developers to be able to fix their issues or to be able to request for features based on their use case. Also, building open source developer tools would allow contribution from like-minded and more experienced developers. Domain expert is actually a thing, and also level of experience also comes to play in development. Building an open source tool, no matter your level of experience, would enable you to be able to work with like-minded people, people with more domain experience on what your tool does, or people with much more experience as developers to be able to contribute, and you can also be able to learn from. Thirdly, it reduces workload of keeping the tool active on you. We know as developers how important making sure your tool is up to date based on dependencies, or making sure the tool you are using is being actively maintained. This is actually a criteria most of us take into notes when trying to pick a tool to work with. So, having a tool that is actually being actively maintained is really a good thing. And while as developers, we have personal lives and personal responsibilities and also work responsibilities, this might prevent us from being able to actively maintain a site or a tool that we actually really enjoyed building. So, open sourcing this tool would actually make it easier for developers to be able to contribute to this tool without you actively watching over it, and they can be able to make changes, make requests based on their use case and based on bug fixes. Also, building communities to work together. We understand why we need communities in development or in life as general. So having a community around your tool will be able to give access to people using your tool to be able to help other people using your tool, or to be able to also learn from each other and impact each other's life. Next, why contribute to open source tools? So, contributing to an open source tool is way more different than working on, or way more different than building an open source tool. So, why should you contribute to an already existing open source tool? Well, first and foremost, more in-depth knowledge of it too. I will give an example of when I worked on Django docs in the Google Sum of Docs season. I actually learned a lot from working with Django, and I use Django in my workplace, and being able to learn about Django in depthly and why it does what it do, and being able to help people that were going to use Django to be able to work better with Django was really, really interesting. And it made me understand more of what Django does and why it does most of what it does. If you're someone who has used Django before, you'd actually understand that most of the thing Django does is mostly looks like it's magic. So when I got to work with Django, I understood that there is actually a lots more that Django does for us as developers that I got to know about. Secondly, improving code skills. While while this is something that you might not think would actually be possible, but working on certain developer tools would actually make you understand more of the technology or more of the tool, as earlier stated. Well, talking about the technology, an example would be when I started contributing and working on LND and Bitcoin. LND is a Lightning Network commander or control line, sorry, that allows you to be able to set up a Lightning Network node. Having working for a Bitcoin company and being able to know in depthly what we do and why we are making these features or why we are building these certain things was really, really impactful to my work process and to my work life. I'm able to, after being able to contribute to LNG, I'm able to work on certain things in the workplace, and I'm able to understand more about what we do and also be able to call myself a blockchain developer. But yeah, these few things are things that I was able to do just from contributing to Bitcoin and LND. Greater job perspective. This wasn't something I really noticed until I added the fact that I worked in Django to my CV. This allowed me to be able to work with certain people that will probably not take me on a job due to my level of experience, but because I had worked with Django, they expect that I would actually know a lot more about Django, a lot more about Python, and I was able to get contract jobs and contract gigs just from adding it to my CV. Your code will be globally used. I don't know, for anyone, it's actually a great sense of pride being able to say that, oh, I worked on this, or oh, I actually contributed to this. The fact that your tool is being used, or the fact that something you contributed to is being used by a lot of people, millions of people, thousands of people, is actually a very good thing and a very great way to feel good about yourself. So knowing that what you do is impacting lives could actually be a very good motivator for why you should do it. Give access to community of developers to work and learn from. So within the past 2 years, I've been able to work with people I could probably not be able to meet in my life anytime soon, just from being able to contribute to these tools that I use, and also being able to make my name known as, oh, this person is an active contributor to this, or this person is an active contributor to that. It really works great for you to be able to learn from top developers. Also meet people that would be able to change your life or impact your life in the nearest future. An overall improved tool for users. When you get to work on tools that impact your life, or when you get to work on tools that impact several people's life, the fact that you change something or something you do is going to improve the tool overall, is actually a very good thing to, or a very good motivation to work on open source tools, because we all want what we do, or we all want better experience for ourselves and people around us. So being able to build these tools will actually, or being able to contribute to these tools rather, would actually be good for the users and fellow developers like ourselves. So how to get started? This is how to get started to an already existing code, and examples is to know where you are. So This is important to know where you are, because knowing where you are would know where you should contribute and what kind of contributions you should be making to this code. Are you a developer? Are you a technical writer? Are you a designer? Knowing these reasons will be able to know what should you be doing to this tool, or what contribution should you be likely looking forward to make to this tool. The first step to always do is to research your favorite tools to use. So I have a couple of tools I enjoy using as a developer, mostly revolving around Django, GitHub, trying to remember one, LND. So being able to contribute to this code, these are things I enjoy doing. So being able to work on these things, I don't get to feel frustrated when having issues, because oh, this is something I actually enjoy using, and this is something I actually enjoy working with. So it should come with less grievance while working with it or while having bug. And next is to start with beginner friendly issues. No matter your level of experience, it's always advisable to start with issues that are beginner friendly, and they aim to solve a problem, right? They are new. They are something that you can actually work on as a new contributor. You don't really have to have in-depth knowledge of how the tool works. So working, there are several labels on issues when you go to GitHub or you go to a repository of a tool you actually enjoy using. There are issues like, you have labeled issues like good first issue, beginner friendly, or help wanted. These are issues that would take you few lines of code or few ways to do it, and you can actually set it up without having in-depth knowledge of how other aspects of the code works. Another way is to also raise your problem as an issue. If you are someone who has been using this tool for a very long time, you would actually have certain problems or certain issues or features you want to introduce into this tool that would either make yourself work better with the tool, or even make other developers to work better with the tool. You can write this up as an issue, and then contributors will be able to listen to you and also be able to approve this to work on, and then you can now work on these tools and be able work on these problems or features and be able to produce them or be able to use them later after you are done, and also give access to other developers to be able to use the aspects of the tool. Another way is also to be able to help review pull requests. Reviewing pull requests might not be notably mentioned when contributing to open source tools, but it's actually a good way to get to know how the tool works internally. Because when you get to review other codes, you get to read and understand, okay, this is what's happening here, this is how to test this, and then you are able to then contribute to this tool. Parting words, there is love and learning in community building. You actually, when you start working in communities or when you start building with community, you get to realize that there are actually a lot you could actually learn, or actually a lot you could actually impact and also learn from building in communities. Warning. Yeah. This is just to tell you that you should have jollof rice and dodo while you're in Lagos, and also try amala, or if you're not a eater. Thank you all for listening, and also do have a lovely day, and also do enjoy the event.